Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday afternoon. My name is Vishnu Agnihotri. I'm one of the co-founders of Genwise, and along with me is Eklavya Shetty, who is the residential head of the program. He's been speaking to some of you who are interested in coming to this program. And we also have with us Kinjal Dharod, who's been a great supporter of the gifted program. She has two children, Arya and Ayan. Both Arya and Ayan have attended multiple gifted programs. It used to be called Asset Summer Program earlier, then it became Genwise Gifted Summer Program. So she will also sort of address you and share the experiences of her two children in this program. So without further ado, I will get started. I will just share my screen. Right, let me put this in slideshow mode. Right. So we are going to, in a more focused way, talk about the Gifted Summer Program 2024. And I know that you will also have some questions about logistics and how do children stay for these 3 weeks and stay, safety, food, and so on. So that part Eklavya will talk about after I talk about why we do such a program, what are the benefits, who is Genwise, what is Genwise, and these things, and a little bit about the experiences of children in the past few years, which will give you an idea. And I can also talk a little bit about the courses. If you have, if you need more details, you can always contact Eklavya and me. So with that, I'll just get started. So this program is in May 2024. And so before that, let me just introduce who we are. So personally, I was with this company called Educational Initiatives and Asset. Most of you are here because your children have done well in the Asset Talent Search Test. They must be gold, silver, or bronze scholars. That is how you've come in. So a quick history of this. Are you able to hear me, Eklavya? Okay, yeah, thanks. Because
yes.
I just got a message that my internet connection is unstable, so I was not sure. Okay, so I used to head asset test development, and I was with Educational Initiatives, and Educational Initiatives got into gifted identification because Duke University had approached us that time, and they liked the asset test very much. So they gave the idea that why don't you take the toppers of asset, give them an above level test so that can identify really advanced learners and bright students. So that is how it started 14 years ago. And so I was the academic director for the first two asset summer programs. First one was in Bangalore, second was in Manipal. And after that, it's been at Manipal since 2017. And Manipal University has been very cooperative. So Asset Talent Search was born out of the collaboration with Duke, and it is a globally recognized test for identifying giftedness. It is recognized by Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth, Northwestern Center for Talent Development, Genwise, of which I am a co-founder. It's Purdue University's Jerry program, which is Gifted Education Research and Research Institute, Summer Institute for the Gifted, and then there is ATDP Berkeley. So a lot of these people looking at the quality of the students who are being identified by Asset Talent Search, they feel very comfortable that students who come can cope with the program. It will be the right kind of peer group and all of that. So you can keep putting your questions on chat as this happens. Last 20 minutes we will take for Q&A. We'll look at your questions in the chat. We will also allow you to unmute yourself and speak at that point of time. So this is how the whole thing was born. I will also talk to you about something called the Gifted World Consortium after this. Right now I'll talk about Genwise. So if you go to giftedworld.org, you will see that, on a regular basis, we do a lot of online events. We have events for students, for parents, and a lot of different things. So as we are growing and maturing, we are making our efforts to have not just the summer program, but to engage with students and parents and educators to nurture gifted students through the year. And I'll talk about, what are the needs of these gifted children at different stages and so on. So GenWise sort of was born out of the gifted program, which happened in 2016 and 17, because we got very, very positive feedback from students and parents. So we felt we should do something like this through the year and focus on gifted programs. That is how we came into being a team of highly accomplished mentors. I'll share a bit about them. And our goal is to really give gifted and talented students the special attention and exposure and nurturing they need. And we try to bridge the gap between disciplinary expertise, like how an engineer thinks, or how an artist thinks, or how a writer thinks, and middle high school students. So the idea is that you are able to gain a great appreciation of different domains and learn to think critically quite early in life, because the formal system is really not aligned to that. And it's a little late to do it after the age of 15, 16, 17. Most psychologists say that gifts concretize by age 14. By that, what they mean is after that, you're unlikely to find new traits, and it's also difficult to nurture something which, so for example, if you're very talented in music, let's say at age 6, 7, or very talented in math, if you don't get that exposure, you can actually lose that talent. So that is what we do. We run residential programs, online in school programs. We also have courses and mentoring for teachers and parents. We have mentors from around the world who very accomplished, whether they are scientists or humanities researchers, mathematicians, computer scientists, and all kinds of people. And some of them are more from an education background, and some of them are more from an industry background. So it's quite balanced. We will share this link to this presentation. You can click and see the mentor profiles and all of that you can do later. So before how do I go back in this presentation? Yeah, here. Yeah. So before I continue with this, I think the best thing is to listen to Kinjal, because she's really experienced this through her children over the last more than 5 years, I think. So Kinjal, welcome. Thanks for taking out time on a Sunday afternoon. And yeah, please share your experience, your children's experience.
Yeah, thank you, Vishnu. So good afternoon, Vishnu, Ekalav here, and all the parents here. So it's been, I stay in Hyderabad, and I have two boys. The elder one is Arya and the younger one is Ayan. So both of them have done two programs. So Arya has done 2 ESSET programs and Ayan has done 2 GenWise programs. So I know there are a few first-time parents here, so I will just take you back when I was in that state of mind, whether my child, I should be, in spite of writing the exam and getting enrolled for this, where I stood at that time. So I did my detailed research about the entire program when it was ESSET. And then I just requested that, can I have contacts of 2 to 3 different parents whom I could speak to and they can share their experience, because that was the first time my child was leaving home without us, without family for 3 weeks. So I had my own butterflies at that time. And yeah, I got a very good positive feedback from all the 3 parents. I still remember one of the parent, that time towards the end of our conversation, she was like, your child has already surpassed that test. He's gone further and he's eligible for this program. I don't know why you're still thinking about it, So just take the plunge, just send him, So that was an experienced parent who was talking at that time. And I think that, after talking to all the 3 parents, I was more confident. And yeah, we sent our elder one for the program. And trust me, it was amazing. So what I have noticed noticed over years for both my children is while they are in school, since all these children, all our children are high achievers, that's why we all are here together. So while they are in school, there are just a couple of them who do really well in sports and academics and overall growth. Once you go to a program like ESSET or GenWise, the beauty is each and every child there is a gifted child. So you kind of realize that, oh, okay, so, everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is like how I am. So there's so much of intellectual stimulation which happens. There is so much of groundedness which happens. There is so much of humility which sinks in. So this is what I have observed with both my boys. So they are like, so I mean, right from day one, they are in that nurturing and, absolutely intellectual zone. So there is so much that they absorb from the program in the entire 3 weeks. As far as the safety and security is concerned, I would say, they do their best, and all the 4 times I have never had any issue. So there is nothing which there is anything which I can say otherwise. So everything was so well taken care. The staff is so excited. And apart from the academics, there is so much which happens in the evening, right on the sports front. There's music, there is sports, there are group activities. So the entire day is jam-packed, and they do numerous things, if I would say, if had there been a couple of more hours, I'm sure the team has so much more to do and so much more to give. So their energy is, it just rubs on the children. The food, the stay, the accommodation, everything is very, very well taken care. And Manipal Institute in itself is, I would say the vibrancy of the place, the energy of the place is way beyond. I think they have a beautiful campus there.
Thank you so much, Kinjal. So I think Arya came twice and Ayan also
Arya came
twice.
twice. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right. So we find it actually quite hard to communicate this experience to parents who not yet sent their children here, right? Because it's very hard to put into words.
Vishnu, I will just pause you here.
Yeah.
I forgot mentioning that both my children study in an IB school. So typically final exams happen in May. And both my children have missed two years of their final exams. And they got permission from school. They've missed their final exams. They were there for the ESSET and the GenWise program. And the learning which they brought back along with them is fabulous. Out of the world. There is nothing beyond words which I can express. So, yeah. And these are those courses. We consciously took those courses which we thought were interesting and which our children could pursue in future. So they get a very good glimpse. 3 weeks is, 21 days is a good substantial period of time. So you kind of get to know the in and out of the course. And for all you know, children might really get excited with those courses and develop a passion for it. And I think these are the children who are going to lead, the world. I would say, no longer we are just a nation, it is just a world. So these are global thinkers, global leaders, and we just need these kind of children.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kinjal. And thanks to the support of parents like you, and there have been certain school leaders also like this, right? So we have a school owner in Guwahati, and they also work during May. But they actually told the parents that this is more important than school because school to hote rahega, exam hote rahega. So this is a unique opportunity. So we have struggled to communicate what this program is about. But I would say that basically the recipe is having very passionate mentors, having passionate students. So I keep saying that sometimes, that a good student is more important than a good teacher. Of course, one can equally say the other thing. So when all these factors come together, I think things starts working out. It's very difficult to tangibly say exactly why, what happens. It's like you put good things in a dish and something turns out well. So Kinjal, thanks so much. And Kinjal will be available to take some of your questions at the end of this thing. I'm going to share a few more things. So let me I'll get on with my presentation. Thanks so much. Right. So yeah, so I'm not going to talk too much about these testimonials because Kinjal has shared a lot of this already. So yes, safety, security, course content, and students from whether it's CBSE schools or Cambridge schools or IB schools, they've all been coming to the programs over the years. Um, yeah, I'm not going to talk about this. We'll share the link. So this is a parent which described things very well, similar to what Kinjal said, that the kid is choosing a course. Nobody has compelled the kid to take the course. There are no exams. You're learning for learning's sake, but it is challenging. You are suddenly thrown into. So some of the children, they've told me that they're like they're a big fish in a small pond, and suddenly they come here, and it's a very different experience for them. And to be blunt about it, parents also don't get in the way, right? So for them to be away from the parents is a huge thing again. So these things we'll share with you. So why do gifted students need to be identified and nurtured? So this is a quote from a psychologist called Letta Hollingworth. So in the ordinary elementary school situation, children of IQ 140 waste half their time, and those above IQ 170 waste practically all their time. With little to do, how can these children develop power of sustained effort, respect for the task, or habits of steady work? So basically, what happens is most of us, we've developed these executive function skills like persisting, respect for the task, or habit of steady work only when we are challenged. Till we are challenged, we will not do it. So for a lot of bright students, they quite easily they do well in the school exam, right? So then you don't develop those habits. Now, if you're an average or a slightly above average student, you know that you have to do your revision, you have to do your homework on time and all of that. So you will not develop these executive function skills, you will not develop these good habits unless you're challenged more. So if most of the students in your class need 8-9 periods to understand something, maybe you've understood it in 3 periods. So then, it's like the idle mind is a devil's workshop. So I keep saying, sometimes people say that all children are gifted. Should we give a label? No, we should not give a label. We don't like to give even say gifted student. The only reason and in the ideal world where every child gets what he or she needs, we don't need to use words like gifted or bright or anything. But the point is, uh, they have special needs, and those needs are not met in school. So we cannot be unfair to bright students. We cannot be unfair. And I agree that everyone has a gift, but academically gifted students have their own needs, and which we have seen in practice. So they need to be identified and nurtured. Early identification is a prerequisite to realize potential. So many of these people like Lady Gaga, Sergey Brin, Mark Zuckerberg here, they all went to programs. I'm not saying that if you don't go to such a program, you'll not be a genius like this, but I'm just pointing out that some of these people, exposure to programs has really helped them. These three people all went to the Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth program. People like Terence Tao also have been to such programs. Terence Tao is the youngest Fields Medal winner, which is like the Nobel Prize equivalent in math. Yes, 10 to 14 years is a good age. I see that someone in the chat asked for a reference about it. Yeah, I can write to you about that. So basically, there is a very good psychologist, Dr. Itishri Mishra, who has guided us on a few things. And she runs an organization called mapmycareer.in. So she and a couple of people have told us about this. There are domain trajectories and so on. And if you're more interested in the research, we can engage with some of them and get you these things. Let me just play this brief 4-minute video, which will give you a little bit of flavor of things. So let me just, okay, let me just play it from here. Yeah. shit. I've probably not shared the video, right? So
No issue.
that's all. I'll have to share the sound and optimize for
Yeah,
video clips.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why Zoom just doesn't just do that by default instead of making us do all these things. Right. Okay. Why is this not playing?
Vishnu sir, I can play the video.
Okay, I'll do it now. Now that yeah, I've done so much, I'll just play it. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Vishnu sir, we can see the. Yeah.
When I got my ATS results, I vividly remember my grandmother being there and she was very supportive of it. Although I hadn't thought about the results too much before that because I didn't want to be disappointed when I got them, I realized that they were actually quite good because I got Gold Scholar and I was very proud of myself, especially because my parents and my entire family was very supportive of me. Seeing the opportunities it brought, I was very excited as well.
My teacher Prabhu sir, he's absolutely amazing because he treats physics like it's something fun to enjoy and like a game. So every day when we come to class, we play with physics, we learn how to do experiments, learn about theories, and then we go back knowing a lot more and even knowing how to do a lot more in terms of experiment and how to test theories and things like that.
He gets a chance to interact with people of his own mind length, wavelength जो बोलते हैं ना कोई. When you go to a normal class in school, सारे बच्चे सब तरह के बच्चे आते हैं. कुछ स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छे होते हैं, कुछ एकेडमिक्स में अच्छे होते हैं. और स्कूल जब उसे टीच करती है तो जस्ट दे हैव टू बी नॉर्मल जनरल लेवल पे बात कर सकते हैं. वो बहुत हाई लेवल भी बात नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन यहाँ पे दे कैन गो बियॉन्ड द कोर्स.
My teamwork skills have improved a lot, and I have managed my frustration, my stress, my anger issues. Everything has been under control since I came here, and my patience levels have increased a lot. Like after taking up the forensics course, teamwork has been a key part to solving our cases, the crimes that we have to solve, and I feel like I learned a lot about different moral skills.
एक छोटा सा और बात बताता हूँ. Like when he was here and I was with my friends and we were just having a chat and Adi called, I was outside. तो मैंने बताया उनको भाई he had gone to the summer program. So I also put Adi on speaker and I told them कोई अंकल से बात करो वगैरह. And Adi was very happy and excited. तो जैसे फोन का यार हो रहा है कि यार आवाज में ही लग रहा है कि उसमें बहुत चेंज आ गया. Adi used to be a little bit reserved child. सोशल इंटरेक्शन में आई थिंक जो इस लेवल के प्रोग्राम आते हैं नॉर्मली सोशल इंटरेक्शन में द चाइल्ड्स आर लिटिल बिट रिजर्व.
First day when I spoke to her, I think I was the most relieved because the smile on her face was unbelievable. Like I was waiting for her to just speak to me at 9, but she was so relaxed, so calm, and it just, her face told me the story that she's enjoyed every moment from the time she's entered the campus.
The icing on the cake is the last night when we spoke with her, which was her last day, and she refuses to come back.
Yeah.
So that speaks volumes about the kind of care and the way the kids are taken care of over here.
These 3 weeks have arguably been some of the best weeks of my life. It's just the people I've met, the friendships I've created, the bonds I have with them now are just something truly special which can't really be replicated anywhere else.
Yeah, let me just move back to the presentation. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to talk about all this in much detail. So these are some students who came to the Duke program or the ASSET program or the GenWise program over the years. So as Kinjal was pointing out, sometimes these courses make such a big difference that a child who's done a course on, say, genetics or AI when they're just 13 years old, somehow it inspires them and they actually take it up as a career. And it can be all kinds of things, right? So you may do 3 different kinds of courses over 3 years and finally do something else, but it's like you're sort of discovering what you're best suited for while you're developing your competence. And one of the things I tell parents sometimes is maybe many of us in my generation or even people 10, 15 years younger than me, we discovered what we are meant for maybe between the ages of 18 when we went to college and 27 or so. So can we start this journey earlier? Can students from the age of 13 to 18, 20, can they really figure out what they're meant for and what they are good at? Yeah, so Rupashri came to the 2016 program. She's currently at Johns Hopkins. And she was really inspired by neuroscience. And it is in the Asset Summer program, in the Gifted program, that she learned how computer science and neuroscience can actually be combined. Asher Kaul is doing his law in King's College London. He came twice, like many other students. And in fact, we have like a panel discussion which happened a couple of weeks ago with some of these students. We'll share that link. If you go to the Gifted World YouTube channel, you will see that panel discussion where these 20-year-olds are talking about how the Gifted program influenced them to do various things and how it was different from learning at school. So it's like a 1.5 hour conversation if you would like to take a look at that. I just want to close this part with one quote from this mother, Pallavi Kamath. Her son Anish came to 3 programs. He was an ATS Gold Scholar. He went to the Duke program in 2015 in India, which was in Shiv Nadar University. Then he came to the Gifted Summer program in 2016. And then he went to the Duke US program in 2017. And then he went to IIT Bombay. He's in his final year now, or he's, I think, just passed out. And his internship is at TIFR in quantum computing. What I really like about what his mother says, so she says it's not the choice that the child makes that determines their success, right? I mean, you could choose history or quantum computing or art or design or medicine or whatever. What makes a difference? It's the conviction and effort that they put into the choice that determines it. Let them explore a variety of domains as diverse perspectives enrich their experiences. So a child who goes to a Kota coaching institute and goes to IIT Bombay is very different from an Anish Kamath who's done these 3 different programs and then gone to IIT Bombay, because how you have arrived at the choice, did you make the choice? What was your competence? Are you learning for learning's sake? Are you looking at excellence? Or is it about, just doing well in an exam? So there is a qualitative difference in this kind of a journey. So sometimes when parents call me and ask me if it will help in, what is the benefit of such a program, IIT, JEE, medical, I actually tell them that if that is your main goal, maybe you're going to lose time by sending your child to this program. But for the parent and child who is looking to pursue excellence, yes, this is very much it can be of help. So I'm going to summarize the whole journey of talent development at different stages, and this is based on research by various people, including Dr. Paula Olszewski-Kubilius, who was twice president of National Association of Gifted Children in the US. So basically, when children are very young, they may show potential for giftedness. They may, and giftedness is a loose term we are using here. By giftedness, we are talking here about ability, which is translated into achievement. It's not just about you are very good at something, but then you actually did not develop the talent and really you are not that competent or don't have expertise. We're not talking about that. We are talking about potential being translated into achievement. So obviously it takes time. So potential is not going to get translated into achievement below grade 5. So at that stage, the main focus is to give wide exposure, promote engagement with learning, nurture curiosity, love for learning. The next stage is to really develop competence from grade 6 to 10. And from our experience, there are 4 kinds of things which happen at this age and which are very important. One is that you have to find yourself. So find yourself means what are my strengths, what are my interests, to develop confidence. So just school experiences may not be enough. Of course, there are a lot of very good schools. They do a lot of extracurricular stuff. But sometimes you need to do it with your peer group. There might be only, say, 3-4 very gifted math students in a school. They may not even be in the same grade. So when are you going to be with them together? When are you going to have a teacher who can work with you, understand your questions, answer your questions? So finding yourself itself requires finding your tribe. So one of the words many students have used is like, my kind of people are here. So they feel very comfortable. They fit in better. Cultivating ability is very important. Critical thinking, domain knowledge as well, to know that, okay, because sometimes due to peer pressure, children, it could be peer pressure, it could be lack of exposure and knowledge, right? For example, some children may think that, oh, neuroscience, I don't like biology, right? Or international relations, no, I don't like history, I don't like geography. But they've never had like a proper exposure to these things. So when they get a proper exposure from someone in that discipline, it's a very different thing. Vijay, can you please stop annotating the screen? Yeah, we'll have to disable that next time. Yeah. So, so finding yourself, finding your tribe, cultivating ability, and the most important, last but not the least, is to cultivate psychosocial skills, persistence, collaboration, strategic, taking strategic risks. One of the problems in the Indian culture is to not take risks at all. But if you do not take some amount of risk, you really cannot, break new ground. So when these opportunities, so the next stage after competence is to develop expertise. Typically, that's after age 15. So you sort of have the solid foundation, so you can do longer term internships, projects, authentic domain work. And after that, you go out into the great wide open. You go to a great university or college, you enter the world of work, maybe you become an entrepreneur. Some children are doing that as well. So when these kind of opportunities are provided, you basically have a clear pathway and you make an informed choice. Match quality is a term given by economists to how well are you as an individual matched to your career or chosen field. And when that is matched, you really are able to excel far more easily. So you achieve your potential, you're confident in new situations, you have strong psychosocial skills. Unfortunately, we've seen the flip side also in a few cases. So children who were very promising in, say, grade 7, 8, their scores actually start going down. Or even if their scores don't go down, somewhere they lose their spark. So, so my intention is not to scare anyone here. but we have seen a few cases, and there's also research on this. So there is a possibility of disengagement due to lack of challenge, underachievement due to lack of executive function skills, and disconnection because of, I feel isolated because I don't have the kind of peer group I can, connect with and engage with. So, so I'm going to, maybe I will talk a little bit about the courses, and then I will leave Eklavya to, and maybe we can take Q&A, and Eklavya can talk about the safety, security, how it is managed. So coming to the specific summer program, May 2024, it's a 3-week program, May 8th to 29th. This is for the senior program, children entering grades 8 and 10. There is a 2-week program for children entering grades 6 and 7. So most of the seats are filled up. I think about 5 seats are remaining. There was, initially we had only a capacity of 20, but then the response was so good, we added one more batch and we made the capacity 40, but already 35 students have signed up, but there are 5 more seats. So that is a 2-week course. And it is at Manipal University, Manipal, which is 65 kilometers from Mangalore Airport. We also have a career discovery and planning program. It's a 3-week program for students grade 10 and above. Today, we are not talking about it. I think most of you have come here for the other program. So let me just, I've shared a lot about this, and maybe Eklavya can talk a bit more about these things, but I would just like to share a little bit about the courses. And if you need more details, then you can always contact Eklavya. He'll put you in touch with me if need be. So let me just open up the summer program, senior courses, what kind of choices are there. Yeah. So that's the May program, 6 to 10. Yeah, I'll talk about the senior program course options. Right. So there is a course on artificial intelligence and machine learning. And so much as this is the 3rd time this 3-week course is happening, but the course has also had to take different avatars, especially in the last 1 year with generative AI and ChatGPT coming in. So this is taught, being taught by Naveen Kabra, who's a brilliant computer scientist, JEE 14th rank in his time, and 25 computer science patents. So it's going to be, the first 2 weeks are going to be more of theory and practicals. Learn a little bit of computer science, algorithms, play around, get a qualitative feel for how things work. And the last week is going to focus more on generative AI and ChatGPT, how you can use it to learn different subjects. So that is one course. There is a course called Modules in Economics. Again, it's being done for the 3rd time. It's being taught by Ashish Kulkarni, who's a brilliant instructor, and he's it's going to talk about the big ideas in economics. It's nothing like the school economics. A lot of role plays, a lot of simulations. It's going to have a lot about data visualization, statistics, because that's a very important part to study economics. It's going to talk about public policy, how to bring about change with different stakeholders. Then again, for the 3rd time, we are running Introduction to Engineering Design via Bicycles, a very fascinating course, very hands-on, getting into physics and engineering, how bicycle designs evolved over a period of time. Children actually take bicycles, repair them, and they feel a great sense of pride because they've done this on their own. We have Professor Ganesh Naik from MIT, who's an endurance cyclist, who talks about, cycling 10,000 kilometers through the Himalayas and what happened to the cycle, what kind of cycle is best suited for different situations. So that's a course related to engineering. We have a course on game design and development, which is more addressing creativity and how do you design something, right? It's not trivial to design a game. So it's getting into the nuts and bolts of game design. Aero modeling has been a very popular course. So I think aero modeling and AI have very few seats left. They have been the two most popular courses this year. So this is basically a course at the intersection of physics and engineering, and looking at the physics of flight, getting a little bit of idea of electronics, actually making gliders, learning how this is working. How do you turn something? How does something stay in there for a long period of time? How do you control it through electronics? And there is a course on mathematical thinking. There is a course on neuroscience as well. Yeah. So neuroscience again is a fascinating course. It is a very interdisciplinary course, learning about the brain, behavior, the psychology. People go into neuroscience from all kinds of fields, whether it is computer science or psychology or medicine or biomedical engineering. So we have a researcher from a lab in Belgium who's teaching this course. There's a course about sustainability. Yeah, so I'm going to stop talking about these courses. If you have more questions about courses, please contact Eklavya. And if you need to know more details, we can talk about that. So I will just get back to the presentation and hand over to Eklavya now. Yeah. So Eklavya, do you want to talk about this slide or yeah?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yes. So hello everyone. Lovely to have all of you. First of all, I'll just introduce myself. As Vishnu sir said, I'm Eklavya Shetty. I'm the residential head at the Gifted Summer Programs. I've been a part of somewhere or the other part of these programs since the 2016 asset program has been. I've had an opportunity to work with Arya and Ayan, both Kinjal ma'am's kids, and all of that said, I've also worked with gifted programs in the US. I've worked at the John Hopkins program there in managing and working with the residential side of the program. So I've been doing this for about 8 years. I've done about 15 plus programs in my time at and making sure that to work these programs. That said, as Vishnu sir has covered like the macro aspects of it, I understand a lot of questions can stem from the logistical and the safety security aspects of the program. So I'll just go through a brief on I'll go through a small brief on what safety security for us looks like, because we understand we're dealing with kids between the age of 10 to 15, and for us that is our top priority, and we make sure that comes first than whatever else at the program. And also, I'll just give you a brief on what accommodation looks like, what food for students looks like, and then happy to answer further questions in the Q&A as well. So for the accommodation, we are put up at one of the finer hostels on ground at Manipal by the Manipal campus. We are in a double or a triple sharing accommodation where the students are sharing rooms with similar age group of their students. Every room has an attached washroom, an ensuite washroom, and air conditioned rooms, because in May the climate does get a little humid and hot as well. That said, a very important aspect of our program is that students are very well aware of this, that at all times they have to be accompanied by an adult, and to facilitate that and make that happen, we have something called a residential counselor at our programs, who become a sense of sort of an adult companion of sorts to each and every child. Every child has an allotted residential counselor, and every RC has about 8-10 students that take care of that make sure the mental, physical, and emotional well-being of the child throughout the program. So whenever the child is outside class, they will be accompanied by an RC through and through, to an extent where we also make sure that the residential counselor also is staying on the same floor that the students are staying, so that even in night, in case of emergencies, then adult is always available and make sure that the child feels safe in that environment, right? You will hear, once your kids come to the program, you'll hear your children talk about the RCs through and through, because as I said, for 3 weeks being with the same adult, it becomes like a kind of a companionship that children form with the residential counselor. Apart from that, the general day, I'll just go through a general schedule of the day, as I think that will also give you a brief idea on what programs. And I think there was one or two questions about what about a child being fascinated by art and music, and how does that also get into a part of the program. So I think even Kinjal ma'am mentioned this, but I'll just go through what a day looks like. Around 7:30 we wake up. By 8:30 we are done with breakfast. 9 to 4 is class, which also has certain breaks and lunch in between. But 9 to 4 is class, where they're inside class, they're studying the particular course, or in the junior program, they're going through the 2 modules, all of that. Then 5 to 7 comes a space called evening activities, which is basically a more of a mental downtime for them and a more social time for them, because as we realize that there are about 150 gifted students together, we're trying to provide them space to engage in conversations, and also try and have some kind of physical exercise or some more sense of creative freedom in that sense. So that is where we try and do some sport activities, music activities, art activities. We have some team building activities. We have a good group of lovely team of interns and staff that join us, and they make all these activities happen. And we do this for about 2 hours every day, every evening, which runs from 5 to 7. Then, of course, 7 to 8 is dinner for us. 8 to 9, there are two things that happen. One is the larger social events and activities, such as we do DJ nights, and then we do talent nights, and then we also have like larger competitions or some smaller, newer concepts and ideas that we want to explore in the residential space with the kids, and we try and do that over the week. Also, on other days, we have something called the evening adda, where we try and get either one of the instructors to come and introduce and interact with students on a particular topic, or we are at Manipal and we might get one of the guest lectures from Manipal University come and maybe share their experiences or share some kind of some conversation on a particular topic. For this and this goes for all the program, all students that are at the program. This happens once or twice a week, and the rest of the days it also is. There are some residential activities that we try and do. It's a no tech program. By that I mean that students, we ask parents to please send phones with your children, but the phones are kept in safe lockers with the residential counselor that is attached to the child. In the night between 9 to 10 for about 30 minutes, ideally 9:15 to 9:45, the phones are handed to the child, and the child can call parents and have those conversations, and make sure they give the brief of the day. And then around 10:15 is when we call lights off. So as you see, the whole day is completely packed to an extent where there is no major time for them to have as free, because we try and engage them continuously. Helps in two issues that some parents might also feel. One is, a lot of these students, especially with the junior group, they are leaving home for the first time. So expect that at an age of 10, 11, 12, on day 1, day 2, they will miss home. They will miss the comfort of being with their family, being with the parents, and that is going to happen. It is just natural for by themselves, and hence we try and push them into a hectic or a continuous schedule where they're continuously stimulated either through mental or creative or physical working, so that helps them engage more. Secondly, it also opens up more and more conversations with other students, with other instructors, because of which the child then starts engaging and getting involved in the program, right? So that's the general idea. For outside the 30 minutes of phone time, the communication levels with us and with the program remains at when once you sign up in month of April, you receive a parent handbook where you get a number of few of the main staff members at the program, one of them being me, and also you get the office number, so you can always get in touch with us. Apart from that, we also create a WhatsApp group with all parents involved, and where we'll all be there in the group as well, the main staff and everybody. And we try and every other day or every 2 days, we try and keep putting in videos and photos of your kids doing certain things in classes or certain things in the residential spaces, games, activities that we try and do with the kids. So that's the general way of how we try and make sure that you are continuously well aware of what your children are doing, plus not getting involved and maybe not having a direct connect with your child other than the 30 minutes of phone time in that space. So that said, about the food aspect, we provide Jain vegetarian, non-vegetarian, all three options. You will get a medical form post sign up in the month of April, where you'll have to fill up either of those preferences. And similarly, the food is prepared and made sure we provide to the children. We have a separate team that works specifically catering to our staff and students. So we also take care of in case of some health, in case your child has some allergy issues or some health issues, and please communicate those things through the medical form so that we can take care of those aspects as well.
Eklavya, sorry
yes.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think there are only 10 minutes left. So maybe
Sure. I think I've covered most of the general ideas. Then I think if things can come out in Q&A.
Yeah, so in the Q&A we can take, and
Yes.
so Eklavya, you probably said that. So I think the important thing is that the safety of your child is assured, and no child is alone except when they're sleeping at night, in their room with their roommate. No child is allowed to go from here and there on their own in the program.
Yeah.
So we'll take the questions. There are some in the chat, and someone had raised their hand. So maybe you can go ahead and ask your question. Okay, I think that hand has come down.
Yeah.
Right. So Eklavya, I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to start answering some of the questions. Somebody's having network issues. Yeah, we will share the recording. No problem. Yes. Study from psychology reference. You have responded to that. Specific example of the material covered from Brinder. Yeah, so it really varies a lot depending on the course, but basically we are getting children to
what is the answer? Like last
excuse me, somebody saying something?
No,
Yeah,
I think
okay.
Hi. Yeah, I had raised that question. I'm Brinder. How are you?
Yeah. Hi, Brinder. I'm well. Yeah, please tell me. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for a lovely presentation. Right. No, I just wanted, I know you sent me a link on the chat. I couldn't find the reference to the study that you mentioned. So if I could just, whenever you get the time later on, I'd like to look at the study. And two, I have some very specific concerns. I don't know whether it's fine to raise it in the group chat, but so my kids have long hair. So will there be somebody else right now? They can't manage it independently. So they need help with their hair. So, and have you faced that before? Have you ever had 6 children in the batch before?
Yeah, so maybe Eklavya, you can take it on. It's a very specific query, so you talk to the parent and see if there is some way we can. Yeah.
So Brinder sir, I'll get in touch with you directly and we can surely do this. As I said, the RC will for sure be able to help this out, but I'll also want to see what specific, like in what sense are we talking. So I'll connect with you post the session.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. Right.
Right.
And I understand there's a specific course content. You said you'll share that with me on Substack.
No, so I'll give you an idea and tell me if I've
Alright.
understood your question correctly. See, on the study reference, I don't have it. I can check with some of the experts and check my, folder to see if I find something. But basically, what is widely understood and agreed is that there are talent domain trajectories. So what that means is certain gifts emerge at a certain age and they do not emerge later. So for example, music and math are something which typically emerge early, but even in music, you will find that vocal will emerge much later because the vocal cords are not fully developed. So you may have a 6-year-old virtuoso violinist sometimes, but you will, so that is the kind of thing I was referring to. For example, if somebody is really very good at making connections, economics, social sciences kind of a thing, that is very knowledge based. So something like this, it's unlikely you will discover before 13, 14. But things like children starting to read much earlier, having high verbal ability, that happens. And gifts being concretized by 14 means that it's unlikely that you will suddenly something new. So it's very unlikely that somebody who did not display a gift for math will display mathematical giftedness at 16 or 17. That's what it means.
Right, great. And do you have any programs? I noticed you mentioned AI. Anything on robotics also in the current the 6 to 11?
Yeah, robotics not in the May program. In the July program, we will have something in robotics.
Okay.
But I don't know whether your school vacation matches the July thing. Yeah.
Right, great.
Right. Yeah, and specific examples of the material covered. Let me try to answer this, and let me know if I'm not answering your question. So basically, we construct learning tasks which push the boundaries of these students. So, for example, in math, we may pose questions where, so for example, children of grade 8, 9, 10 are combined, right? So, but the material we use, it may be, say, graph theory or something which is at an undergraduate level. But there is, even at age 13, 14, you can have sufficient mathematical intuition to engage with that problem. Or, it might be like a repair challenge with a bicycle, or it may be, there is a YouTube video, it teaches you how to make an electric motor, but only when you do it, because the YouTube video will not tell you that you have to, that the shining thing on the wire is an enamel insulation, and the only way to figure out to make it work is to shave off the edges. So there's a lot of learning by doing, lot of role plays, collaboration, so that kind of stuff. And I can send you some links of examples from different courses. Yeah.
Right. That would be great. Thank you so much. You answered my question. Just one last quick question. So, my son takes his decisions independently. Do you have something that I can, or like a session like this for the children so that he can decide whether he wants to come or not?
Yeah, so we can do a call with, Eklavya or I can do a call with you and your son, and he can make a call. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, because just like an introductory something, because the kids these days are very independent. They choose their own choices, right? So it's been an excellent thing for me, right?
Yes, I
and I'd
understand
like to
it,
give him
yeah.
that decision
Yeah,
ability.
nobody should force their child. You can give your suggestion, but they have to decide. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
this is to, of course, Brinder sir and everybody else on the call. I've just added a Google form link on the chat. In case of your interest and you want us to get in touch or you want to sign up, please go ahead and just fill that. Someone from my team or I will get in touch with you post this session so that we can take the conversation forward. I've just added the Google form link. We can continue with the question.
Right. So I'm taking Karthik's question next. Karthik talked about, there isn't, it's very STEM focused, the program for 6th graders, daughter is not interested. Yeah, sorry about that. It's always a tricky thing to fit in so many different things in 2 weeks. There is a little bit of language art in the course itself. For example, the joy of creating things where they create a Rube Goldberg machine or a stop motion video does involve art and creativity. So it's not purely a STEM thing, both those activities. The other week is more STEM focused. And as Eklavya pointed out, there is a lot of this art and music outside of the classroom. So you can again talk to Eklavya and me, and we can figure out whether it is enough for your daughter to be interested in. Grade 4 and 5, unlikely we'll offer something in May and June. We'll get back to you if there is, but definitely from August 1st, we have a long-term course for grade 4 and 5. It's going to be in an asynchronous plus mentor mode. So it will soon be up on our website. How will we know about it? Right.
We'll send an email about it. Whenever it is on, we'll send an email.
Yeah. So, but do you have Mr. Ashok Dalabera's email ID? How do we? Yeah. So one is just subscribe to genwise.substack.com. That is one thing you can do. And we will also just maybe share your email ID there. We will note it down and we'll send you an email as soon as we decide that.
Just a suggestion, maybe you could just send it to all of us, because I think many of us have younger kids who might be interested.
Is that so? Okay, we'll send it to.
So if your child is an 18th qualifier of 4th grade, you will automatically get that message as soon as it is open. We will
Oh,
send
right. Because then it is in our CRM. So the
Yeah.
moment that is announced, we will send you a message.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
will anyway send it if your child is an ATS qualifier through 4th.
Yeah. Hyderabad 2-week
What
program.
is-
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Sorry, what is ATS qualifier?
Yeah. So most
my
of
child has gone through the asset program. That is ATS qualifier, you are saying?
Yeah. So ATS is the above level test. So your child must have done well in asset, which is the grade level test. So then he or she would have qualified for asset talent search test, which is a 2 levels above test. Some of you would have taken something called gifted talent search test. That is for, some people have not taken asset, but they were nominated by their school or somebody to take that test. So yeah, basically, this is some way to ensure that the child can cope with the program. Yeah. So, yes, I've answered. Can my son select his roommate? No. Right. Basically, we want children to make. Priyank, please go ahead. Yeah.
So I was looking at the online course material which you have so my son is in the 6th to 7th grade, and joy of doing things, joy of making things. So I just wanted to check the program is essentially all about it's more science or STEM oriented, which is fine. I mean, we are okay with that. Is there also some focus on child psychology, right? So how does the program ensure that, like you said, like these gifted children look at each other and say, hey, I was chilling till now, I was coasting through, now I need to push, because at least that's the thing I get with my son. He was like, stop.
No, that's a good question, and it's an very important question. By the way, that is not an online course. What you saw, joy of creating things and this thing, it's a.
I meant offline.
Offline. You meant offline, right? Yes. So there are 3-4 typical issues we find unique to gifted students. Of course, there are many common children issues. So sometimes what happens is, as you said, you may be, I don't want to try this so hard and so on. And it can happen. So typically, most of the activities.
Sorry, I lost you. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so one thing is typically we don't find engagement an issue because the activities are pretty interesting. For example, making a stop motion video or making a Rube Goldberg machine. Rube Goldberg machine is that thing where something moves, something hits something else, something hits something else, then it falls there, kind of a thing, right? So those kind of things typically most students love and like. Yes, sometimes there are some students who don't want to push the boundaries, they get bored. So we have to let them be. I think we give them feedback during the program as well and after the program as well. That is one kind of issue. The other kind of psychological thing that sometimes happens is you are a topper in school. Here you've come and teacher asked a question. 3 students answered the question. You're still trying. So sometimes we do. Then we. And the same children after a week, they are very different and they're willing to try, they're willing to stick with something without getting the answer. So it is not that one program will completely transform your child, right? Yes, parents do see a lot of change. Children who are quiet start talking much more. Children who were scared to take some risk, are willing to try something even if it breaks or fails. So those things happen. But it is going to be a multi-year journey, right? It's going to be over 3-4 years. This is going to happen. It's not that somebody will suddenly become persistent. So I'll give you an example of this student in 2018 was the first time he came to the program. Very bright student, had a sugar addiction. We discovered that accidentally. So there were these sugar packets. He took that. He went and bought Coca-Cola bottles and gave it to all the friends. Then we had to tell the canteen person to not sell anything to the students. Then after a year, he got into the school basketball team. Then he started eating healthier because he wanted to do well in sports. Then we discovered he came in a program in 2019. Then we discovered that the child was generally a little scattered and not able to focus. But then we discovered when the child is working with the hand, the child was very, very focused and could concentrate. So then we gave that feedback to the parent and the teachers in the school. They gave them much more hands-on things. So now there's a huge change in the child over 3-4 years. So none of us know really, I mean, however much psychology expertise, this, that you apply, every child is different. Every situation is different. So we have to work together to discover these things. I know we are past our time, but there are a whole lot of other questions. So you can go ahead, but we'll just answer these questions and send the recording to everyone. So I'm just going to go from bottom to top because now I think that's easier for me. What do you offer in the junior program? Today's session was mainly on the senior program. Yes. Sorry about that. So it is described on our website. I'll very briefly tell you. So there is 1 week is focused more on math and hands-on science experiments. And the math is more to do with the process of mathematics. How does a mathematician take a specific thing and then generalize it? What is proof in math? Through, again, fun activities. In science, again, how does a scientist answer a question on his or her own, right? How do they design an experiment? How do they collect data? How do they analyze that data? How do they interpret that data? So that's going to be 1 week. The other week is going to be more sort of, I would say, at the intersection of creativity and design and making, where basically they will make a stop motion video. I've never made one in my life, so don't ask me too much about it. But basically, you're trying to get a message across. So how do you sort of do that? And Eklavya can tell you more about that. He's a filmmaker in his other job. And the Rube Goldberg machine, which is, things moving and resulting in something. Yeah, so that is what we are doing in the junior program. Can your child join? Yes, bronze scholars, certainly yes. Karthik, you want to have a quick chat? Great. Yes, we will organize a time for a quick chat. Yeah, I think we've answered all the questions in chat. So if anybody else wants to unmute themselves and...
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I just want to check, you mentioned that you have in May, June, you have only the senior program. And so junior program will happen in August. So junior by junior, you mean?
No. Okay, let me explain.
Okay.
So junior program is for children entering grades 6 and 7. Okay, yeah. So senior program is for children entering grade 8, 9, and 10. So both of these are happening in May in Manipal. Now somebody asked for their child who's in grade 4 and 5. So it is sub-junior. So it is even younger than junior. So that is starting from August 1st.
So the kid who's going in 6th standard this session is eligible for the junior program, which is happening in May.
Yes, right.
Okay, thank you. And one more thing, sorry. So there are multiple programs which you mentioned. So do we choose a program? You have...
So is your child in the, which grade is your child entering?
He is currently in 5th, will be going to 6th.
Yeah. So for the junior program, there are no choices. When you come to the junior program, you will do all the things I just described. The science, the math, the stop motion video, the Rube Goldberg machine, all of those things. Yeah. So in the junior program, which is for children entering grade 6 and 7, there is no choice. You come for 2 weeks, you do all of these things. The choices are only in the senior program.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, whether it is the ATS, Asset Talent Search percentile, we are looking, I think we are looking at above 85th percentile, but even for the 75th to 85th percentile, we can talk to you, we can talk to the child. If there is some teacher recommendation, we are a little more flexible in the junior program than in the senior program. It also depends on the course, right? So for example, we are more particular about the percentile in math and science for artificial intelligence, machine learning, for aero modeling. In the economics, we are more concerned about the English percentile, so that you can get in touch with us. Yeah. Can my child come back if she doesn't enjoy it? Yes, that of course it is not a jail. We do not hold back someone. So it's extremely rare for a child to leave the program. I think in my 7 or 8 years of this experience, once a child, only one child left the program, was feeling very homesick and found it difficult. But otherwise it's very rare. But yes, your child, so typically we have to counsel the child. We have also to talk to the child in a certain way. But yes, despite best efforts, if the child is not able to adjust, yes, you can come and pick up the child. Not an issue. Yeah.
There is a
I have a question here.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the accommodation for the students, will it be separately earmarked for students who are taking this program? As in, will the Manipal university students also be sharing the accommodation?
Yeah, a very good and important question. So we take huge care that they do not interact with the college students in any way without our supervision. So there are separate wings in the hostel for them, where there are none of the Manipal University students out there, and children are not supposed to. So there will be a residential counselor very close to their room, and children are not. They just can't go out and go out on their own. They have to be accompanied by an adult. Yeah.
So all spaces that are occupied by us, may it be even in the academic section, the classrooms that we have, or say those spaces are very well clearly defined that it is Genvices and gifted program spaces. So we are Manipal students don't get any chance to interact, and it's made a very clear distinction of sorts even with the children at the program.
Yeah.
So sorry.
And also, how you select the roommates, will it be clearly like girls and boys separate?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're also on different floors as well. They are gender demarcated floors, and very specifically in different wings, the boys and girls specifically. The roommate, we try and get students to have interaction from all over places, because we have about 20 cities covered through the signups that we have as of now. So we'll try and get students engaging with students that could be from different spaces of the country or different courses that are being taken in the senior category.
And we don't mix a very young child with a much older child. We will not put a grade 6 and a grade 10 child together. Grade 6 child will be grade 7 child. Yeah, like couple of
They are
years.
mostly belonging to the same junior program.
Yes, they're like plus minus 1 year typically. Yeah.
Okay. All
There was a question about transportation. So the transportation, this from our end remains the same, that you have to make arrangements to drop your child to the program and pick them up. We surely provide one small support from our end, that in case your child travels by themselves and you're sending your child by themselves from wherever it can be, the closest airport is Mangalore Airport, and the closest railway station is Udupi Railway Station. You can make those travel arrangements, and we will make sure one of our teaching assistants or one of our staff members go and pick up the children along with the other students who are coming at the similar time to go and pick them up at the program. And you will get to know who the staff member is to go and pick up your child. But apart from that, the travel arrangements, say coming from Bangalore or coming from Hyderabad, you will have to make arrangements for your child's travel to the program and from the program.
So Eklavya, maybe you can just mention the fee, because somebody's asked a question about
Sure.
the fee.
So two programs that we spoke about just now, the junior program, which is 2 week long, the fee of the program is 1,25,000. But due to some communication errors and plus some schools asking us to extend the early bird discount that was running, we have made that separation happen, and till the 15th of this month, that is 15th February, there is a 25,000 early bird discount, so it comes down to 1 lakh. Apart from that, in case your child is a gold, silver or bronze scholar, accordingly there is a 10,000, 7,000 or 5,000 scholarship. Very happy to answer this. By then, which is 30,000 less, so that brings it down to 1,50,000. And even there's a gold, silver, and bronze scholarship, which is 15,000, 10,000, and 5,000 accordingly. Happy to answer these further questions, like about price questions after the program. Please go ahead and fill the form, and I'll surely get in touch, and we can take that.
Yeah. So fine, let's close now. I think we are 15 minutes over time.
Yeah.
Kinjal,
Kinjal ma'am, thank you so much for making
thank you.
time.
Is there something you want to say before we close?
You have this tagline called the best summer ever. And trust me, they've always proved it. I mean, it's always been the best summer ever for children.
Thank you so much, Kinjal. Yeah. Okay.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you all. Yeah. Be in touch with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.